morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name's Mike Amos. His name is Forrest Lee. And good morning, and good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning, Mike. I had a pretty good weekend overall, and it was kind of rainy yesterday, so I did just a little bit my Lee he shed. You know that commercial about this lady's she shed gets torn up. Commercial, so I call mine the Lee he shed. And visited with some cousins, had supper with them Saturday night, and today's the 1st of February.
Well, do they come into your place, or will they come in?
No, Glenda Walters, her maiden name was Walters. Her daddy, Titus, used to work with the state road department or the Pike County Road Department for years, and Imogene worked at the bank, Miss Imogene Walters. And Imogene's mother and my grandmother were twin sisters.
Oh, okay.
So Glenda and I are cousins, and she and her husband Jeff live in Birmingham, and they've got a camper down there just inside the Crenshaw County line, not far between Goshen and Vidette.
Yeah.
And I've got land close to there, and
so
we met them for supper in Luverne at a restaurant. And
which one did you go to?
The Bushes. You go past the Pachalaga River Bridge, as you almost to take a left going toward Rutledge, toward Greenville. Bush's Barbecue is right there in the corner.
Is it good?
It's real good.
Really?
And, last week,
it's mostly barbecue?
Well, they have steaks on Friday and Saturday night. They have barbecue. They've got salads.
Good size steaks, big size steaks?
Yes, ribeyes. And they got several sides. They got turnips and all kind of different sides. But what I ordered was the chicken fingers, and Jeff ordered a big old plate of ribs, and you would take a bite and they'd just fall off the bone.
What's the name of it?
Bush's Barbecue.
Bush's Barbecue, and we'll talk about it until they start advertising with us. Bush's Barbecue.
It's real good.
Luverne. How do you get there?
Well, you go off of 29. You go through Luverne, and like you're going to Greenville.
Yeah.
You cross the Pachalaga River Bridge.
Do you make it all the way to what's that little community?
You would take a left going to Rutledge to Greenville, right before that left-hand turn, on the left is Bush's Barbecue. It's right before there's some motel over there.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But Stevens Concrete is kind of across the road, and that's where Dwight Falk works.
Exactly.
Yeah. Coach Falk.
You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning. How are y'all?
How you doing? Where are you calling from, sir?
A windy, cold Graton Beach, Florida. It's about 68 yesterday. Now it's about 42. So it's changed overnight.
I'm not quite presentable yet to let me sit here without my cap on, but it's coming along. But I'm not. I don't have the gall that it takes to take this hat off right now.
The Payne Stewart.
I tell you what. I don't know if nobody talked about it, but man, what a weekend for Troy basketball for Coach Cross. Wins 2 games at home against the top team in the Sun Belt in Appalachian State, and I watched some of those games on ESPN Plus, and Troy played great defense, and Stampley, the senior forward who came to Troy, is pretty much just a rebounder and hustle guy and takes a lot of charges, but really has developed an offensive game his senior year and played great in both games. And then some of these freshman players are starting to contribute more and more. I mean, they got a chance. They beat Spring Hill out of Mobile on Tuesday night. They added that game
here in Troy.
Yeah, that's right. You know who's the coach, don't you?
At Spring Hill?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
That's Kennedy, Coach Kennedy.
Yeah, Coach Kennedy. Craig Kennedy.
Yeah, Hunter and Hunter Kennedy's dad.
Yeah.
And Melissa.
And is a great guy. I think the world of Coach Kennedy, and I was tickled when he got that job down there. And you could talk about colleges and different things about them. This is the most expensive college in the state to go to. They're a first-class university, and they charge you for it.
Yeah, Spring Hill. That tip-off is at 6 o'clock, Mike, and Of course, the men won Friday 71-62. Then on Saturday, they won over Appalachian State 65-59, and the women won by 20 on Friday, 80-60, and on Saturday they won by 12, 74-62. And this upcoming weekend, the men, I believe, travel to Georgia Southern, and the men will host Georgia Southern.
Yeah, that's right.
The men are hosting Georgia Southern this Friday at 6 o'clock and on Saturday at 4. The women will travel to Georgia Southern and play at 5 on Friday. And Saturday's time has not been announced, but the girls are still at the top of the conference, and the men have moved up to 2 or 3 spots.
Well, this is an opportunity by playing at home to continue to put together a winning streak, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case. It's one of those things where, I was looking at the rest of their schedule, and Troy's undefeated at home with some improvements from past years. You know, they hadn't lost a game, and they got a chance if they get hot to maybe get to around 15 wins, 16 wins going into the tournament down in Pensacola, and, you know, who knows what will happen there.
That's right. That's right. And, confidence has a lot to do with a basketball team, and you come in there with a little bit of confidence, thinking that you can win. Heck, it's liable to put together a streak.
I've got some information about that Sun Belt Conference. There is it's going to be held in Pensacola through Pensacola Sports through 2025. They got a 5-year contract.
Really? Huh.
The men and women basketball will play a 12-team format. It's a 5-year agreement. They're going to play in 2 different places, the Pensacola Bay Center and at Pensacola State College and Hartselle Arena. Well, there's 3 locations. But it's going to be March 5th through the 8th. And the 5th through the 8th of March. And the semifinal and the championship games will be held at the Pensacola Bay Center.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the main deal. Bay Center, is that?
That's the main place where they'll play the championship
That
game.
must be a new facility.
Right. They'll play at the Pensacola State College as well in the Hartselle Arena.
Yeah.
And at Pensacola Bay Center, because you got 24 teams playing.
I want you to watch that Pensacola football and program and so forth, and watch this conference pretty close. Pensacola would be perfect to have to come into the Sun Belt because of the population size, and see they look at things like what kind of area will we be able to cover? Well, that Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, Panama City area would be Pensacola area, and it would draw very well. And I would think that even though it's a small, the program won a national championship last year in football, in Division 2, I believe.
Division 2. Yeah, you're talking about the West Florida.
Yeah, West Florida team. But Mike, it would be as far as the conference goes, as far as the growth of the conference, they would love to have that Pensacola area in their conference. And I bet one day within the next few years that you see this Pensacola team in the Gulf South.
Well,
I wonder if the Sun Belt House rolls though, with South Alabama being so close.
What am I talking about? Gulf South, Sun Belt. the Sun Belt Conference. Yeah.
I don't know if they'd allow two colleges to be that close to each other. Pensacola and Mobile. What is that? 40 miles apart? 30 miles apart?
Yeah, it is. You're right. But logistically, it would be nice to have one that close. You know what I mean? Troy would benefit from it.
They hadn't even made the jump to 1AA yet.
I know it. I'm just looking at it from the next 4 or 5 years. You watch that program. It's a fast growing school too.
Well, I believe Jacksonville State is changing conferences next year for a year or 2, and then they're going to realign with someone else.
Who are they?
I think it's the Western Athletic Conference.
Western.
But I read it and I didn't want to.
They're doing it to go join the Atlantic Sun. They're going to the WAC for 1 year, and then after that, they're going to be start football in the Atlantic Sun Conference. With Kennesaw State and North Alabama, Eastern Kentucky. There's 3 schools leaving the OVC. I read.
But this is not a Division 1A conference. This is
it's Division 1A in every sport except football.
That's right.
Yeah. Football, Division 1, and everything else.
Yeah. So that Troy is still a little bit larger conference affiliation there.
Sounds like Jack State's making this for football because they can dominate this league. It looks like from what the teams I've seen in it.
Well, dominate 1AA, as long as they stay 1AA, that's fine. They can be as good as they want to, as long as they are 1AA instead of Division 1 like Troy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how in the world they do the traveling next year because you play in the WAC.
Yeah.
And you're talking about going out west and play everybody.
You know, just looking at traditional games and looking at teams that would have great rivalry. That Jacksonville-Troy rivalry was one of the most intense rivalries I know in Troy's history and anybody's, but one of the most intense rivalries. Tell me some more real intense rivalries other than Alabama and Auburn, and
Oklahoma, Nebraska used to be pretty intense.
Oh yeah, no question about it. Oklahoma,
but it's Oklahoma and Texas now, but they don't play each other.
They're still big.
They do play each other. Oklahoma and Texas.
I mean, you got Florida State, Florida. I mean, you've got Michigan, Ohio State. Even though Ohio State dominates that series, my favorite is the Civil War. They call it out west. Oregon State and Oregon.
Oregon State and Oregon, okay.
Southern Cal and UCLA.
I'm sure. I was just sort of thinking of more or less, down home.
A lot of people like the Holy War between Utah and BYU. That's a big rivalry game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It is a big one. They call it the Holy War. And I'll tell you one that used to be at one time that was one of the most intense rivalries. Was Huntington and Troy. Huntington College in basketball in Troy. That was a tremendous rivalry. Heated rivalry. I mean, man, you walk into that gym and there wasn't a seat anywhere at Troy or at Huntington, and they hated each other, and it made for a tremendous rivalry.
Archer was a coach.
Archer was a coach,
Archer.
And Coach Neil Posey was the other coach, and they were both great coaches, and they recruited. Posey recruited mostly from the Selma, Montgomery area, and they got good players out of Selma and Montgomery, Lanier, and a lot of their former great players. And that was back during the days of the college ranks, where they would have Kentucky and Cotton Nash and all those great players back in the old SEC days too. Were great rivalries, but I thought if I ever went into a heated rivalry, not counting somebody like Alabama and Auburn or whatever, but just on the small college level, that it was no question that Jacksonville State and Troy match up in basketball, baseball, and football, and then Huntington in basketball was unreal. Those three schools, you wouldn't have thought it, but it was an unreal thing.
I looked also in an article about there's 8 teams that they think have a chance to break into the college playoff.
Yeah.
Series.
Yeah. Next year, you mean?
Yeah. Other than the traditional people that's been getting in it, Southern Cal, Texas A&M, Florida, North Carolina, Iowa State, Wisconsin, and Penn State. They think they may have a chance to crack it.
You didn't say anything at all about Georgia.
They've been in it. These are teams that have not been in it.
Yeah.
They think that they have a chance to break
Yeah, with their new coaches, and I'm sure they're expecting, improved years and so forth. And of course, the top four would be Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and what's the other one now? Would it be Georgia or would it be?
Well, Notre Dame's been in
Notre Dame,
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oklahoma would be the next one, I would say. Right now, I think the best four programs out there are Alabama, Ohio State, then Georgia. Well, not Georgia, but Oklahoma, and what is the fourth one? It would be either Notre Dame, and I don't know if I'd put them in there or not, but Georgia would sit in there, but Clemson would be. Did I name Clemson?
Yes, sir.
All right, okay. That'd be Alabama, Clemson.
Oklahoma can't win the big game, though. I mean, every single time they made the playoffs, they get knocked out. They never made the championship game.
For some reason, with this quarterback, and I've always said, however good your quarterback is how good you're gonna be in the long run. And this quarterback at Oklahoma is really good.
Well, here,
interesting here. I'm reading this on Spring Hill College athletics basketball. Craig Kennedy is the head coach. But they're treating the Troy game as an exhibition. They're saying Troy University exhibition in Troy, Alabama. It's not like Troy wouldn't play a game in the middle of the season and call it an exhibition. I wonder if Spring Hill's calling it an exhibition, Troy's calling it a game.
Well, I don't know.
But they're playing in Troy on Tuesday at 6 p.m. But Spring Hill has not played a basketball game all season due to COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this will be their first game of the season. After that, they'll play Miles College out of Birmingham on Saturday and Sunday. Then they'll travel the next week, and on February 13th and 14th, they'll play Tuskegee University.
Yeah.
Back-to-back games. Then they'll travel to Birmingham and play Miles College again, back-to-back games the next week. The next week, they'll play Tuskegee. Back-to-back games in Tuskegee, and then they'll finish out their season against Albany State back-to-back in Mobile. So this is amazing what Coach Kennedy's just trying to schedule. Looks like 4.
He's gotten into a little conference. He's got,
10. It looks like they're going to have a 10-game season.
Yeah, I got you. And that's better than none. Better than none. And, see, they have to adhere to the scholarships. Heck, they're paying these guys a way to go to school. Heck, they've got to pay them back by playing a game now.
Hey, I'm ready to go on Zoom if they can put me on camera.
Yeah, okay. Mike Amos calling in from Great Beach, Florida, and of course, good to have him here. And what did you say? It was cold weather today down there?
Oh, yeah. It's 42, and then I think tonight's going to be 36. The next night's going to be 36. So.
Gosh, I didn't realize that. And so it's going to get colder. It's going to get colder.
Yeah, once Alabama get beat over the weekend, Oklahoma goes into the game without a top scorer because of COVID. The guy averaged 16 a game, and then another player that averaged 8 a game does flex to Alabama, and Alabama gets pretty much dominated throughout by Oklahoma at Oklahoma. And kind of a surprising loss. Alabama won 10 straight.
What was that final score, Mike?
66 to 61, but Oklahoma was, pretty dominant throughout the game. They were up by, I think, 10 or 11 in the second half, and Alabama couldn't shoot, and unfortunately, it kind of looked a lot like the teams of the past, down the stretch. But maybe this is good for them.
I would have told you, I would have told you Oklahoma was going to win the game. I just felt for sure they'd win the game.
Well, Oklahoma's coached by Ron Kruger.
Ron Kruger, yeah.
Coaches in the country. He's won everywhere he's been, and I think he's been taking 2 different programs to the Final Four. He's a great coach, and
let's name the best. Let's name the top 10 coaches, and let's name the top 10 coaches in America. So we'll start a list of that. Kruger, of course, has been around a long time.
Mine would be Coach K. Probably then Roy Williams in North Carolina. Jay Wright at Villanova's got to be right high up there.
Jay Wright.
The Italian guy from Michigan State, Izzo's got to be high
Izzo's a good one. You're right.
Calipari.
That's right, Calipari. Yeah, exactly.
You know, Coach Cheney passed away. That used to be a long-time coach.
Yeah, at Temple.
Yeah, he was a great coach. He was a great defensive coach. Boy, they'd shut you down on defense. Go ahead.
Patino's back coaching, so I guess you got to throw him.
Where's Patino coaching now?
Iona.
Iona.
Well, the coach at Gonzaga. Have you mentioned his name?
You know, we haven't.
Mark Pugh.
And Mark, yeah, that's right. And,
yeah, he's a good coach. I mean, there's so many. Really good coaches in college basketball. We can name names forever.
But some of the
is a great coach. Leonard Hamilton.
Who now? Florida State. Yeah, Hamilton is good.
Leonard Hamilton. Yeah.
Yeah, he is good.
He's like 71 years old.
Yeah, he's a good coach. No question about it. Hey, that's not very old, is it? I'm 73.
I know. I'm just saying. I never would have thought if you watch him during games and stuff. He just didn't seem like he was that old. I was surprised to see that.
Exactly right. But I just a short list, and I know, like you said, there are several more.
I'd have to say, Bruce Pearl to me is in that top.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He's a great coach.
Alabama host LSU this Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that's a good team.
That's right. Is that game played in Tuscaloosa?
At Alabama, 6 o'clock tip on Wednesday, and of course Auburn got beat by Baylor 84-72, and Georgia comes to Auburn as well this Wednesday. I'm not sure on that.
84-72, and the line was 14. Auburn comes away with a smile on the face.
You know, everybody in Mountain Brook loves Tristan Wofford, and he's in his second year at LSU, and he's averaging about 14 a game and about 9 rebounds.
Why do they love him now? He's a player that was a state.
He was a former Mr. State basketball at Mountain Brook, and he ended up deciding between LSU and Alabama.
How's he doing at LSU?
He's the best player.
Oh, is he? Already as a pure freshman.
Hey,
a sophomore.
Yeah.
Sophomore, okay.
A lot of people think he'll be a first-round draft pick this year. He'll probably come out after his sophomore year.
Uh-huh.
What about the kid at Auburn, the guard? Do you think he'll play one and done?
He's not a real big. He's not a real physical guy, at least from what I saw. And I just don't know how physical he is to play in the pros. He's got to be stronger than he is now.
I think he might try to come back, but I mean, he's got.
But he needs the college experience to be even better. But he's a great assist man.
It reminds me of a Colin Sexton that played at Alabama, but a little bit smaller.
Yeah. Michael, I looked up Tootie Jones from Charles Henderson. You know, she's a freshman at Belmont. She's averaging 12 points a game, and she's leading the team with 3-point shots. She's 27 of 64.
Oh, man.
And she's leading the team in minutes played, 32.7. Maury Davenport at Georgia has played about 9 games. She's averaging about 3 points a game and is averaging about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, she just got to Georgia, so she's getting into the flow. And
of course, that's a little tougher league. There's no question about a tougher league, but at the same time, the coach's daughter, Tootie, is not doing anything I didn't expect. I thought she would do well.
Right, and the big Andres Burney out of Pike County is averaging 15 points for Shelton State.
Oh, I wish Troy would get him.
He's 6'9".
He'd bring 100 more people to the game.
Fred Holland from Pike County High School was named the 2019-2020 National Federation
that's going through the line.
of High School Association Coach of the Year, Fred Holland.
Yeah, and that's quite an accomplishment.
So congratulations.
Our show's brought to you by Goldfingers.
That was not Fred. That was Doug.
Doug. It was Doug. Yeah, he was a basketball coach.
This is Gerald. Okay, Doug.
Well, is that if he's a basketball guy? It was Doug.
Okay, by habit I put Fred.
Yeah,
sorry
it's going to be Doug.
I'm sorry, Douglas.
Football coach.
Yeah, it was the basketball coach.
I want to mention Circle Insurance in Ozark and Sam Judah and all the great people there. One of the largest insurers in the area, and we appreciate them very much. Noble Manor for assisted living. No better people to do business with than Noble Manor right here on Botts Avenue in Troy. I want to mention also Pike Tree Service, and I had a lot of trees down during the last storm, and thanks to those people there, I didn't miss a beat. They were in there, got the trees out, and I can't even show you where the trees were. They actually did such a clean job, and they're professional, and they do a great job. Green Hills, it's hard to find enough superlatives to talk about. A great place, and Green Hills Funeral Home is a great place, and Benny and Chrissy and all the great folks, first-class operation at Green Hills Funeral Home. Want to mention Earl's Glass this morning. A lot of people don't realize that Earl's Glass does body works too. You know, they not just glass work; they do body works, and they'll give you a good quote on any parts of your automobile that needs to be improved.
It's this time of year. The deer are running. We came back through Goshen, between Goshen and Little Oak, about 9:30, and a doe decided to ram me.
That's right. He actually probably saw himself in your truck.
I mean, I was watching for him, and that doe nailed me. So y'all control your pets down there.
Well, I'll tell you this.
They're running.
Isn't there some device you can buy, like some little whistling device?
Yeah, it is. And my brother-in-law lived over in Eufaula for years, and he had one on his tires, and it makes a real loud noise that we can't hear, but they can hear.
Well,
I don't know what deer he asked if he could hear it or not. But you're exactly right. Some places, like over in Barber County, where they have that big reservation, over there. It's a lot of deer.
They're everywhere. They're in downtown Troy.
Well, I saw them in my front yard. I saw 4 in my front yard, and I can tell. I can go show you exactly where they pooted. Whatever you call it.
Well, last year, about a year or so ago, I was driving down, going up Elm Street early in the morning. There come 2 big old bucks just rocking and rolling through the golf course.
That's right. Beautiful layout up there. I tell you what, if you notice it.
I tell you what, the deers are a nuisance, though. I think they ought to extend the season for like 6 months. There's way too many.
Well, yep.
Yeah, it is. We're overpopulated with deer, and like you said, it can create a lot of damage. In fact, they can cause serious accidents.
Well, the feral hog.
I hit through one night and knocked my bumper off. Thank goodness we had Huey, our old dear friend Huey.
I tell you what, and my prayers, and I tell you, Huey was a great man, and boy, I miss him so much, really do. Not only as a mechanic, but as a person. He was a great guy. Did you know Huey?
I've been in that service station a while. I didn't know.
It looks like they're going to close down. And boy, what an operation he had for a long time.
Something I think that would work in Troy, like that location right there.
An oil change?
No, put in refreshing it up, and have a self-service. Have a full-service gasoline shop.
Where people,
your elderly, your college girls,
exactly.
They'd come in there. Hey, you don't have to get out of your car.
Exactly.
We can fill you up, wipe your windshield, check your oil.
You're
Take
exactly
that little
right.
device. Here's your device. Put your card in. Take it out. Here's your receipt. They don't even have to get
That's
out.
Right, yeah.
For safety, because think of the number of, for safety, you don't have to get out of your car. You don't have to worry about somebody taking your car or your keys or whatever, your purse. And you don't have to get out of your car. Somebody pumps it for you.
Exactly.
And usually, in Mobile, when I was in graduate school, there was a service station on old Shell Government Street, and it was like 5 to 7 cents more a gallon, but people would go there so they wouldn't have to get out of the car.
Of course, A1 Services, my good friend Terry Motes, and of course, if you've got air conditioning or heating problems, we're right in between. You call Terry Motes at 566-4220. They're great people, and we appreciate them very much. And Terry is the son of the legendary Marshall Boymos. Everybody knew Marshall Moats.
Long-time guardsman, and there's no telling how many teams he's coached through the years.
Oh,
It'll be a Hall of Fame for.
Exactly. In fact, when we have Dan on, Dan hopefully is going to come on tomorrow.
He's coming on in the morning from 7:30 to 8.
Something I would love to do is honor 4 or 5 former coaches every year and have a wall over there where we can have their picture and with a little quote under it, Coach so and so and so and so. Be wonderful to recognize those people.
He did.
There's been so many. I
tell you what, you better get a jacket the next night to Troy. It's going to be 31 as a low tonight. Troy 28 Tuesday night. Wednesday's going to be 30.
Oh man, what are they doing?
And then the next week, Sunday and Monday, it's going to be 26 and 27.
Whoa, man, we're going to have a bunch of cold weather.
Get your plants back in.
Man, you're right. No question about it. And I might have to build me a fire. I'll tell you.
We had a fire out in the yard out in Drake the other night, and we did the s'mores and all that. And the little girls, Mary Prater and Millie, love it.
Did you have any marshmallows? Did you do marshmallows?
Yeah, we did s'mores.
S'mores. I've never heard of it as being called s'mores. Have y'all ever heard of it called s'mores? Called s'mores. How about roasting marshmallows? That sounds a little bit more authentic.
Yeah, with graham crackers and marshmallows.
Oh, okay, yeah, making those things.
Chocolate, yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you the craziest thing in the world is somebody trying to roast a marshmallow and not burn it. I actually stick the marshmallow in there to burn it, to eat whole the burn part, don't you? I mean,
yes.
That's the best part of it.
Hey, Michael, next time go get about 3 or 4 hangers out of the closet. Go get you some hot dogs.
Yeah, that's what we used to do.
And cook those hot dogs.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that.
The
and the more burnt they are, the better they are.
That's right.
And
I had to when we do sausage, I always have to borrow Grey Poupon from my neighbor next door.
Grey Poupon, yeah.
I like Grey Poupon with my sausage.
Exactly.
Have y'all ever fondued, Michael?
Yeah, years ago I have.
I've never done that. You talking about the chocolate?
Well, Arthur Coker again.
They cooking with oil. Yeah.
Years ago, Arthur Coker, the director of housing for Troy University, I guess gave Mother one of those pots.
Yeah.
And we would learn how to do it. There's oil, a little flame underneath, and we would cook chopped meat. We'd get a little table, put it in the middle of the living room. We'd cook your meat in it. Then we'd cook, I think you had another thing, we'd put chocolate in it and have bananas and strawberries.
Yeah.
And you could do fried potato.
Yeah.
But we haven't done that.
Let's while we're sitting here, another list I wanted to start is start about some of these legendary figures at Troy University that helped Troy grow to be what it is today. One man's name was Arthur Coker.
Arthur Coker.
Tell everybody about Arthur Coker.
Arthur Coker, he was kind of a jolly old fella.
We're going to make people remember people here.
His eyes were, he had some where his eyes twitched all the time.
Yeah.
But he would always say, I can't see the forest for the trees. But Mother worked in Alumni Hall for Mr. Coker. And she had student workers, and I remember one was Hank Jones.
Yeah.
And one Sunday, there was a special person coming to bring his kids.
And Hank was from South Florida.
And he actually, in a snowstorm, he had a yellow Volkswagen, and Mother couldn't get out of Troy on her big old Impala.
Yeah.
And it was too slippery, so he drove Mother home in his Volkswagen.
Yeah.
The motor's in the back, and he on his yellow Volkswagen sure did.
I never thought about it being 4-wheel drive though,
And but
it was a standard shift, wasn't it?
Right. It wasn't. But the weight's in the back,
yeah.
So it wasn't. It's not doing all this. But see,
and we talk about standard shifts. You said, son, look, go get my Volkswagen. He said, I said, go get my Volkswagen. He said, I don't know how to drive a standard shift car. And there's a lot of
Oh,
kids. A lot. I don't know about your kids or not.
She does.
But there's a lot of kids that can't drive a standard shift car.
Right. But one Sunday afternoon, they made special arrangements for this person to have for his two kids to tour the university.
Yeah.
And it was Big Jim Folsom.
Yeah.
I met him outside of Alumni Hall, and I can remember just looking up and just kept looking up, and there he was, about 6'8", 6'9", big old fella.
Yeah.
But I met Governor Folsom one day.
And of course, there are a lot of great people that have taught there, and of course, one of my favorite ones is a guy that coached basketball for all these years, and
John Archer, Robert Earl Stewart.
John Archer, of course, was one of my favorites, and Jim O'Neill, a great math teacher.
Everybody always talks about Clark Gable, Dr. Carroll.
Yeah, Dr. Carroll, yeah.
He had a
The
Mustang.
legendary professor. A lot of people tell stories about him.
Oh, yeah,
He
no
had a
question.
yellow Mustang. Stayed in Alumni Hall.
Yeah, exactly.
Alumni
Of course, many people talk about Coach Clipson, not as a coach, but as a teacher. Great teacher in the physical education department. Back then, they had to teach before they coached, Yeah.
I like Phil Kelly was my favorite teacher.
I love Phil Kelly, yes,
the
sir.
sound of the South.
Yeah, and he was the first guy that started doing the Sound of the South, and later on Rick Stetson took over, and then later on our guy who does it now really does a great job.
But Virginia Watson, the physical
Oh,
education
yeah,
department, she was,
she
as
was-
far
she-
as physical education, Gene Hansen and, of course, Don Jeffrey, they all made an impact on me. But Phil Kelly, I took him for a class, and what I had to do is I had to be in a play called Orpheus in the Underworld, and I had to dance in a loincloth. And I'm glad social media
Oh boy, well, that would
wasn't
be a pretty sight.
available
wouldn't
back then.
it? Yeah, exactly. Oh man,
He hooked me into that.
Yeah, but
I made an A.
you're known as what's the little guy's name?
Jake Blues.
Yeah, that's right.
Jake Blues.
And what was his name?
John Belushi.
Elwood.
I know, not
Belushi.
John Blue Oak. He was Elwood. Not
No,
Elwood, the tall guy was
Yeah,
Elwood.
they were Jake and Elliot.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd was the other guy.
Yeah, I know.
But Elliot, Jake, and Elwood. I was Jake,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
right.
tall guy's Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot, Jake, and Elwood Blues, the Blues Brothers.
And you could put that skit on anytime you wanted to, couldn't you?
Now, if my knees still worked, I'd still do it a lot
Yeah.
more. But
And what was the songs you would
It's
sing?
It's funny how Canadian actors or Canadian comedians were so popular growing up. I mean, Aykroyd, Martin Short, Steve Martin, John Candy, all those guys.
See, I didn't know they were Canadian.
Ed Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's Canadian. I mean, all the real funny guys are out
Isn't
of
that something? Yeah.
But
Right across from the Niagara Falls. I've been there before. Have you ever been there before? Have you been to
I have
Niagara
not. I have
Falls?
not.
Well, I went there and I looked at it for about 25 to 30 minutes, and then I said, I'm ready to go. And that means go home. I mean, I thought it was beautiful, but at the same time, once you've seen it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
I
Same
think-
way with the Grand Canyon.
Was it noisy? The water?
Yeah, real
yeah.
noisy, real noisy.
Yeah, because the water.
Now, my son has his children listening to real loud noises when they sleep. Do you still do that, Mike?
Yeah, we have noisemakers. And
Do they need that to sleep?
I just do it because if an intruder's in my house, I just want to be able to sleep through it.
Oh boy, I hope those children don't end up getting some kind of ear problem, hearing problem because of it.
I don't know. I mean, I can't sleep without a noisemaker. Even
You
when I
can't?
take a nap, which I rarely do, I have a noisemaker on.
Do you really? Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Was that prescribed to you by a doctor?
No.
How about your children? Have you ever asked whether or not your children should listen to a noisemaker?
They've had them in preschools and nurseries their whole lives. I mean, now
Yeah.
they have noisemakers on.
We've got a great show for you today. It's Me and Him. We'll be back in just a moment.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Debbie, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Okay.
Back to our show, brought to you by the Alabama Real Estate Connection, Carol Amos in Troy, Alabama. Call her at 672-0100. Call Carol Amos today for your real estate needs. And also the Troy Health and Rehab, located on the Elba Enterprise Highway in Troy, and of course for long-term health care, short-term rehab. We appreciate their being a part of our show. And Max Federal Credit Union, my good friend over there, and we appreciate them. And Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. And happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear
Jason Gregory. And, of course, he is one of the great people to move to Troy and set up a business and give back to the community. Nobody's done it any better than Jason Gregory. And, of course, they've got the best deals anywhere.
He's a young guy, too. I think Jason's only around 38.
Oh, I don't know how did you know that? I didn't know how old he was, but I tell you what, he has really responded to our community about as good as anybody I can ever remember, and giving back to the community that's making him a very successful young man.
I think I read on Facebook where they sold over 100 vehicles
this past month. That surprised me.
That's a lot.
They'll beat anybody's price. I'm talking about anybody's price of course, he's been in grew up in the automobile business and learned his trade from his dad, who was extremely successful and has added a lot to what he knows now through experience. And let's just say this, that if you're looking for a Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram truck, hey, this is the best place to go anywhere in this part of the country or anywhere in the country, right here at Premier. I want to mention also Troy University's basketball team won two this weekend, and we've already mentioned that, but I wanted to mention it again. It's just like anything. When you step to that line to shoot a free throw, you got to believe that ball is fixing to go through that little round hole. And if it doesn't go through that little round hole, you need to practice. So two things you learn. You learn to if you can't shoot them, learn to shoot them, or you can't play college basketball. As far as I'm concerned, you win a lot of games at the free throw line.
In high school basketball, Charles Henderson won a big game this past Friday over Carroll of Ozark.
A good Carroll of Ozark team too.
63-50, and Charles Citizen boys are 17-7. Could not find a score on the girls, but tonight Charles Citizen travels to Luverne, and tomorrow night they will host Pike County, and they'll host Abbeville this Friday. The Goshen boys lost to New Brockton. The girls beat New Brockton. They'll host Pike County tonight, and there will be no fans are allowed in the gym in Goshen, but you can track the game live stream on the National Federation for High School Sports. Pike County, like I said, they defeated Abbeville, and they play tonight against Goshen. Pike Lib won both of their games Friday against Abbeville. They'll have about a 10-day pause, and then the Elite Eight will start after that.
Yeah.
So Pike Lib is their regular season finished. Now they'll start the playoffs in a couple of weeks.
You can name me.
In high school basketball, we talked to Coach Brown about the fact that there's no shot clock, and I think that's something that ought to change in basketball. I mean, I don't know if you can do it at every 1A, 2A, 3A school, but maybe you can do it 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A. But
I think that's true.
If you're gonna have no shot clock, then why don't you at least each player have 6 fouls?
Yeah.
Because if you get 6 fouls, at least you're gonna be able to stay in the game longer. Next time how many kids foul out of games. Because shoot, everybody's just trying to dribble it out like 5 minutes ago.
One thing is they're already now gone to 3 officials, and this would be having to add another official. Of course, they don't pay. In most cases, they don't pay the shot clock operator. I mean the clock operator, but they would have to hire another person, an official-like person, to do the shot clock. And then you got to know what you're doing too.
I do not like that about high school basketball.
Yeah, I don't like them holding the ball and all that. You're right. I don't like that either.
You know, one thing.
Hey, how about shutting it down over there, buddy? We're talking. The guy is operating over here while we're trying to talk.
One thing that I would encourage young people to consider is officiating, the sport of officiating, because I know in football, some of the older men elected not to officiate because of COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Throughout the nation, especially in the Southeast.
Yeah.
So with basketball and baseball and softball and volleyball, soccer, officiating is a good part-time job.
Really is.
And you can help. That's a way to stay involved.
I officiated for 25 years or more, and loved it, and made extra money for my to meet my livelihood. And it's something that you would need to do. Don't ever officiate just because just to make the money. You got to want to be out there, and it's important to do the right thing on the court.
Well, what you're doing, especially at the lower level, say at the rec department with that youth basketball and softball, and baseball, you're developing those kids' sportsmanship qualities that they need, and you're teaching them the game, and you're working with them as well. So it's, I guess, giving back to something that's probably given you.
The top 3 in the country has got him Doug Schals, and every time there's a big game, I see him calling the game, and I always have to say, my dad used to referee basketball games.
Well, let me just say this. I'll tell you even closer to home to this. We were at a junior college game at, oh boy, I have the hardest time.
Where are you, Judson?
No, not Judson. It was at, oh gosh, where the Cox boys went to play baseball.
Oh, over in Elk City.
Yeah, near Elk City. What's the name of it?
Chattahoochee? No.
No.
There's Southern Union and
Southern Union. All right, at Southern Union and Wadley.
Well, the Jen Wright boys.
That's where the Jen Wright boys play baseball. They're both at Auburn now. But want to mention that I officiated college basketball, junior college basketball, and 4-year college basketball. and it's the first game that he ever officiated, first college game he ever officiated in Alabama. He might have. He's from Georgia, and he might have officiated some while he was over there. But in Alabama, I officiated a game with him. It was the first game he ever officiated. Now he's one of the top officials in the country. And like
he's got to be top three.
Shouts. I would say Shouts on an average would just doing officiating different games that he'd make between $5,000 and $7,000 a week.
George Evans' son, the former SEC official, mayor of Selma, his son played at Troy, is a big-time SEC official too.
And they're probably making a couple of $1,000s a game or more. And and he is a good official, but his daddy was a better official. His daddy, I officiated many games with George, and he was a first-class official, and he officiated, I think he told me, 8 Final Fours.
Well, in football, we have 2 people from Alabama that will be in the Super Bowl as officials. One is Rusty Baines from Tallahassee.
His daddy was a NFL official.
He's going to be the line judge, and the first female official is Sarah Thomas, who played at Mobile College, played basketball there. She's from Pascagoula, Mississippi. She will be the down judge, the first female official in the Super Bowl. So there's 2 from Alabama.
My good friend, gosh, I think about him all the time. The bullet from Pell City, he officiated several Super Bowl games, and Bobby Skeldon, and of course Bobby Skeldon is no longer with us, but he was one of the top officials, and I knew him well. And then Ronnie Baines, who's Rusty's daddy. Ronnie Baines was an NFL official while he was a head football coach over at Tallahassee.
Wow.
And then on Sundays he'd go officiate NFL.
And I can remember they used to say where they worked from.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they worked.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't just get there by accident. You're probably evaluated as much as any job you've ever had.
And you go to these practices and those kind of things, preseason games. They'll evaluate. I bet there's a camera on you.
Yeah, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'm not sure.
Vegas has got the game at 3 right now. Kansas City's 3-point favorite, and the over/under is 56.5. That game's going to start at 5:30 on CBS.
Yeah. So, Tom Brady's trying to become the second quarterback to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. Who was the other quarterback?
2 different teams. Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Brady's been to 10 Super Bowls. Just think of that. 10 Super Bowls. That's incredible.
I've just got a feeling that he's going to meet his match this weekend. This guy right here, this guy's going to be one of the great ones to ever play the game. And I think that he's got a better team.
Best ever.
Why now?
Jimmy Johnson said the other day, Mahomes is the best he's ever seen.
Yeah, and he just has so much. He can beat you. He can beat you throwing the ball underhanded as well as he can overhanded. Have you ever noticed that?
They're just.
He flips it. He flips it underhanded. How can you stop that? I mean, there's no way to stop that old whoopee lateral. He throws.
Only issue is he's got turf toe, and turf toe, I don't know if he'll be able to scramble as much. And
surely he'll be well by now.
Tampa Bay is extremely athletic on defense. They got some risky pass rushers.
They do, and we've got these donuts this morning, and these Trojan donuts. I'm telling you, Mike, I'm gonna tell you right now, they are as good as there is at Thomas's. I'm telling you, these are delicious, and if you squash them, you've got two times the donut hole.
Well, it makes you think that because they get a little bit wider, about like a silver dollar.
Boy, you better put. If you want to eat something, you better get them now.
Thomas is still closed right now.
I know why.
I guess they're closed just until February, I guess. I guess they'll start up, I guess today. I guess. Welcome to February, everybody. I totally forgot it's February to start today.
Yeah,
Valentine's
today is
Day.
February.
Woo, it's coming up.
Yeah, that's right. Valentine's Day is coming up, and
I've got my wedding.
Groundhog Day is coming up.
Sunday.
What now?
You know,
My wedding anniversary Sunday, and then we got Valentine's Day the next week.
how many years?
6 years.
6 years.
And you have Groundhog's Day coming up.
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Got Steve Kemp Day coming up in Troy. We sort of take it on our own to have what we call a Steve Kemp Day.
Steve Camp Day. And then what's it? Recruiting Day is Wednesday.
And recruiting day, Mike,
Yeah,
a big day for a lot of people, Wednesday. And, you know, there are a lot of people, especially Auburn, had not got their allotment yet.
Well, they picked up a big lineman the other day that's about 6'7", 315. He committed to Auburn.
From Northwestern transferred?
Yeah, and that kid, there's a big, he's a defensive player, isn't he, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they signed some big offensive lineman.
That's why you leave Northwestern. Northwestern dominated Auburn in the bowl game.
I know it.
It was like Northwestern was the better program to me.
All these pretty girls from the South.
Might be it.
No, you know, listen, Mike, let me tell you this. There's a big difference in Northwestern. There's a big difference in Northwestern and Auburn when it comes to people going to see you play. There's about 85 to 90,000 to see you play at Auburn, and probably about 50, 55,000 at Northwestern.
Yeah, you got Mardi Gras coming up. You got Fat Tuesday coming up. We got all kinds of Fat Tuesday parties down
I
here.
wonder how the COVID is going to affect Mardi Gras, because I think it had a huge effect last year because of they allowed a lot of the virus to spread.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right?
Yeah,
in New Orleans, you remember that happening?
I think whatever they do will be limited. I mean, we have the 38 Wine Festival coming up in February as well, and every event that I'm involved in is limited to only 50 people, and you have to, try to social distance as best you can. I don't know how you can do that. Pick wine and eat oranges.
Okay. Let's have a full report from you and from Forrest on the COVID-19 and also this new COVID.
Well, I know on February the 8th, they're going to open it up to people who are 65 years and older, to include teachers, first responders again, correction officers, food and agricultural workers, the United States Postal Service employees, child care personnel, judges and attorneys, manufacturers, grocery workers, public transit workers, drivers.
They're going to open it up today?
No, February the 8th.
February the 8th.
Yeah, and some statistics that I got.
Next Monday.
Next Monday. But the CDC released that Alabama is dead last in giving out the vaccine. Alabama's given out about 323,000 vaccines. 42%.
Alabama has given out 300,000 already?
300,000.
Boy, that's quite a bit.
Well, it says 42% of the delivered vaccines, only 42% has been given out that we've received.
Oh, man.
Now, also, he mentioned his name is Mr. Scott Harris. He's mentioned in the article that I read on Alabama.com.
He's our health
state health
yeah,
officer.
Okay, officer.
All right. Says that want people to call in and get reservations, but they're booked right now with what they have. They're booked till the end of March. Yeah. I don't think we have enough healthcare workers to give the shots that we have, the nurses, the people who have to run the clinics. So it's been a glitch. But
yeah.
But who do you? I don't know if there's
some
anybody
people
to blame.
Some people are already starting to get their second shot, aren't they?
I guess because they got it months ago. But there's a lot of 75-year-old people who've not gotten it. But
you can do the Birds Trust. You set up an appointment. Pike County Health Department, I think, offering. I'm sure.
Yeah, not just anybody though.
Yeah.
You know, they're are being real
I think you have to call them.
stringent on who can get it still, in Pike County.
I know the Charles Hudson Child Health Center gave vaccines this past Friday and Saturday. CVS, I think, is fixing to
I
start.
want to say Bird Drugs has had
Yeah,
it.
he mentioned that.
Yeah, Bird's been doing it.
And I think Walmart is working with the State Department of Health to start. They'll start giving them out.
Yeah.
But, some of these bigger cities in Alabama are setting up drive-throughs where you can get your vaccines. But it's the bigger cities.
Well,
in Alabama.
I tell you what, I sure hope they'll get this thing rolling the way it should be, and we won't worry about it, and everybody can get their shot as soon as possible.
I saw.
Yeah, it'll be nice. This time next year we can hopefully be back to normal. Hopefully be back to normal come football season. Because I'm hearing a lot of people act like they're going to open it back up for full attendance. We'll see what happens.
I noticed that Troy baseball has officially started practice, and in fact, by mid-February they'll start playing their schedule. I think Troy's got a shot at being real good, Mike. They've got they've got two All-Americans coming back.
I felt like that last year when they started 9-0 and 8-0. Next thing you know, they finished 9-8.
Yeah.
So they started well, but didn't finish well. Coach Smart been there for a long time, and he's built a program and done a good job. And I feel like by far that's the most consistent sport that we have at Troy is baseball. Yeah. They always usually have winning records and always usually have teams good enough to compete and make it to the NCAA regional. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we open up on February the 19th, a 4-game homestand against Youngstown State.
Yeah, that's a big school in Ohio. That's they are probably have 20,000 students.
Yeah. Friday night at 6:00, and I don't think we mentioned it live, but the Lady Trojans softball team, their first game in the Trojan Classic will be on Friday at 2 p.m. Not this Friday, but next Friday against Ole Miss.
That'll
They'll
be
open
good.
up against Ole Miss.
Play 'em